My name is Buckner, and along with Aaron and John from Tacoma, Washington, this is the In the Fence podcast.
Hello.
Hola.
Hey, guys. It's good to see you again. A new week, lots of new car stories to talk about. Oh, the fun. Let's get caught up on all the excitement, because I saw you got a lot of notes. I know John's got a whole bunch of stories. He's got things to do. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
Oh, with that kind of energy, we should actually had something planned to start right off with, because that was good. That would have flowed nicely if we actually had a topic just ready to in the chamber, ready to go.
Don't you have some on your
let me look here.
Poorly penmanship papers over there?
No, because those are like when I have them on my phone, then I'll transfer them to the paper, and then. But you're right; they're hard to read.
You can't just look at them on your phone.
I can think of two off the top of my
go.
head.
Ready, go.
He got a new fire suit.
Yeah, he got a new fire suit.
Oh yeah, new. What do you call it? Tracksuit.
Tracksuit.
New tracksuit.
But it came with shoes.
And
Usually
gloves.
when you buy a tracksuit at JCPenney, it doesn't come with shoes.
This is blue with white stripes on the side.
Would you ever just wear those? Like, you're like, you know what?
Like a Russian mobster?
I'm going to go out.
The tracksuit or the shoes?
I just meant the shoes. I mean, you're going to go out for
The
a Pazuki.
race ones?
Yeah, the race
No.
ones. Would you ever go out for a Pazuki wearing your race car shoes with Jackie?
No, because they wear out really easy.
Okay.
And they're not the most comfortable. They don't have like anything under them. They're tight and small.
I would think they'd need to be comfortable. You're doing so many laps in those, you know.
Yeah, you're not
Some
walking.
support, some
I
cushioning.
used to have all of my shoes used to be a couple $100 a pair, right? Because I buy good ones. My favorite used to be No Fear shoes.
Oh, yeah.
There've been a couple times I came to the races, it was rain nights or something, and my shoes had got all wet. My regular shoes had got all wet or whatever, and I wore my race shoes home, or to J.R. McCrunk's to get shitty drunk.
I need to be better with these new shoes about taking them off when we're not racing, because I've wore holes through all of them otherwise.
You mean between the
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, see, I do that all the time because I take my suit off because I don't want that thing on all the time.
Yeah.
You should try to be better about not just jumping down underneath the car with your new suit, because
I know.
you really got no business being under there anyway.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to be better.
The one thing I can't stop thinking about is Michael Jordan owns a NASCAR team now. I wonder if he makes his own line of Michael Jordan, because he does the shoes with the Jumpman. If they make Jumpman race car shoes.
They have Jumpman logo on all of their stuff, like Denny Hamlin's things, but they don't sell a Jumpman glove or shoe or anything like that.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Probably the race team probably has them.
Yeah.
No, I don't, because it's not. They don't do a lot of Jumpman stuff with the race team. It's always 2311. They really promote 2311, and I think that's good, right? Like keep right.
I never dunked in my racing shoes.
Keep your basketball shit with your basketball shit, and then keep your racing shit with your racing shit. I mean, we don't have to have racing basketball.
There you go.
I will say we're getting started a little late today.
Why?
Which nobody knows. Except
it is a little late.
It's a lot late actually now.
This is cutting into my personal time.
Yeah, I got to take Jackie for Pazuki later, and it's cutting into that. She should be walking on the trail.
And I'm like, because Aaron was like this big secretive things. And we're gonna have Jeremy Andrews on to do a recap for Wenatchee, and I don't know if you know, but Jeremy never shuts the fuck up.
He got kids he's got to deal with. So
yeah.
Wait. What was going on in Wenatchee?
Stock car race, bro.
Whoa!
It was the Wenatchee 200 Cars Tour race with Kevin Harvick.
Excuse me, Cars Tour West.
Yeah. It was a big deal, son.
Let's just jump right into that too. Let's get all this shit out of the way. How was the old monster trucks at the Everett Event Center, the Angel of the Winds Everett Event Center?
It was a ton of fun. It was Hot Wheels presents monster trucks. So it was for the little kids, but I have to say...
Are you getting notes out?
I am. I took notes. While I was sitting in the stands.
It's scripted, bro.
What's scripted?
It's like wrestling.
Who wins the monster trucks?
Oh, really?
Yes.
It's scripted?
Yes.
All I know is there were 7 trucks there. I'll list them off.
That's like a late model race.
Yeah, list them off because I want to tell you if they're locals or not.
Mega Rex, Tiger Shark, Bone Shaker.
These are the trucks?
Yeah. They had the fire truck, Rhinomite, and my favorite, Skelosaurus.
So this would be a local. I think if I remember right, a lot of it like
sound like knockoff Power Rangers.
Yeah, this would be the Pacific Northwestern type monster truck group, right? Like, maybe out of Idaho, but probably out of Washington based, Oregon based. But this is definitely not
Monster Jam.
Like, yeah, not the same group of, what is that called? Live Nation. Live Nation is the event group that owns those monster trucks, and Live Nation owns all of the monster trucks in those. Gravedigger and Bigfoot, which I don't even think there is anymore.
No, Bigfoot was there.
At yours?
The OG. I think they bought the naming rights, because it looked like the original Bigfoot, like a 78 Ford F-150.
Oh, okay. I don't think Bigfoot is at Live with Live Nation, right? Because probably Bigfoot, they probably have a franchise kind of deal, right? They're smart about that. But what's Gravedigger and those other things, and that fucking one with the muscle arms on it, and then the one with the horns and shit. Yeah. Bulldog or whatever. Something.
The one looks like a puppy dog too, with like floppy ears.
Yeah, floppy ears. I think he's not a pickup. He's like a sedan delivery. I don't know.
Cruiser with the ears.
Something. I don't know. It wasn't a PT Cruiser. Nobody fucking. I'm on now. I want to make a PT Cruiser monster truck.
I will say they made a hell of a ton of money on merch. They had more merch there than you think of.
Bring all those asshole little kids there, and they got to have a T-shirt and all that.
A T-shirt and a Hot Wheels and
a hot dog.
Like a light up.
How was the concessions?
The lines were way too long. Super popular. They made it was packed house.
But I bet you stood in the beer line.
Didn't stand in the beer line, no. Missed opportunity for that one, but super fun. Anytime you get to see something ridiculous like that. I watched a Zamboni turn into a dragon. It like unfolded. It wasn't quite
Megasaurus or whatever.
Truckosaurus, right?
Truckosaurus or whatever.
That's a thing.
But that was pretty neat. So really good time at
Who won?
Who ended up winning?
Was it the drag racing with them, or is it freestyle? What kind of competition?
They had like the long jump, they had the wheelie, donuts.
There was no freestyle because these are locals and they can't afford to fucking flip their shit over and put a new body on.
That was the one thing I kept thinking about now that I've done the podcast with you guys, and thinking about like parts and tires, and they put so much money into the bodies of the truck to look cool for the kids.
They don't want to mess them
really
up.
Intricate, and they don't want to flip that. That's probably thousands of dollars.
The ones in Live Nation, they bring 2 or 3 bodies for each truck.
Right.
So Live Nation comes with like this whole there's
like the
2
circus
or 3
coming to town.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 or 4 trucks with just the tires and wheels in them, because they can't haul them with the tires and wheels on them. They got to put these little tires and wheels on them, the little truck ones, and then they put them in these things, and they haul 2 or 3 of them in a semi trailer, monster trucks, and but they got all these things, but they have bodies like So Gravedigger shows up, they got 2 or 3 bodies with them. They probably got 10, 15 bodies, because they don't come here, and I think they're in Missouri and
they're not going back just for a body.
Or somewhere like that. I don't remember where. But then they're not going back just for a body. And I don't know if you've ever seen. You have to look at some videos.
They're like RC car bodies, basically.
Kind of, yeah, exactly like that. Gravedigger's got some bullshit lights. They all got bullshit lights now. But if you look at some of the crashes where the things are flipping over and it's bouncing and something's come loose, they literally are such. I don't know if they're made out of like some thin plastic, but they literally like wave around like Saran wrap. It's just they're that light. They don't weigh anything.
Yeah.
Also, like Live Nation, they own this whole big. We have to look it up. This whole big, huge facility, and they have a track where their shop is. And so, if you want to be a monster truck driver,
that was what Eric was wondering.
You got to go. You got to go there, and you got to pay them, and then they train you on. It's like a school on how to be a monster truck driver, and if you're good or if you're bad. Because I remember the Crusher. Josh Beckel.
Oh.
He was going to do it. I don't know that he ever went back, but he knew all the info, was buddies with all those guys at Live Nation, and I think he went and worked. It's the same thing, just like you talked about earlier about Wyatt Gardner working for Rackley War and Wenatchee. Josh worked for Live Nation on some of these trucks when they came to the Tacoma Dome. And,
He had some inside information.
yeah, well, right. He wanted to be, he was the crusher. He was Mike Buse's fucking number one competition, but I think they were all hooked up together. It's not anymore. I'll jump way fucking further than that fucking Mike Buse. Fucking Mr. Dizzy.
Who do you think you are?
I'm going down. Or no, I'm not. I'm like,
Whoa. Hey.
yeah. I mean,
It's a family show.
He's going down. I'm fucking gonna whoop it. I'm gonna be the next whatever the fuck you want to jump champion.
I love that. One thing, because Aaron told me that you actually had the opportunity to drive one of these things. Well, and that's the question I have, because one thing I noticed when they were at the track at the Angels of the Winds for the Hot Wheels monster trucks is that both axles will turn like the front axle.
They call that four-wheel steering, bro.
Like a Honda Prelude.
Or a piece of shit GMC step-sidey looking thing. Pickup.
But I was like, how the hell do they control that? Is like two steering wheels in the truck, or
you're a dork. It's a switch, a toggle switch for the rear.
Crazy. So I'm sure that takes a lot of practice to try to get used to that, because they were
especially if you
pretty
don't
flawless ripping those things.
So I, until you said something, I forgot, and I told Aaron about it before, that when I drove for By Design Rockeries, I got a funny monster truck story. It's a fun one. It's awesome. I just remembering how awesome it was. By Design Rockeries had a monster truck. They bought it. I don't know. It wasn't fast enough because they had a big block Chevrolet. By Design they're Chevrolet guys. They had a big block Chevrolet in it, and we were always talking about, when I did a carburetor and whatever. Maybe it was a good motor, like you got to turn those big ass fucking tires. But and he had boats, and he always had all these boat motor parts and these offshore race boats and all this stuff. We were always going to put a blower on it, right? Because it didn't have a blower. It needed a blower to have a bunch of power. And he bought it. It was a square body Chev, so like
it was a steel body truck.
Steel body truck, 85, wow. Right? Like this is an old school truck, but it was cool. He wanted it. We went and got it, and he bought it. He found it, and he's like, and he goes, "I want this. Let's go get it." And I'm like, "We'll go get it." So then we jumped in. He didn't have a CDL, so I jumped in a truck and hooked up to a low boy and went and got this thing. And it's like way wider than like we didn't have no permits or nothing. We just put on the low boy and hauled the thing back, and it was in Gig Harbor.
You didn't take the tires off.
Nah, hell no. We didn't have anything to take we did get some tires with it, but it was in Gig Harbor.
Yeah,
and so we hauled
across the bridge.
We went across the bridge and everything, and so we come through there, and we got back and whatever. We had it for a while, and then so Muffin or John Farrell,
those big tires, you could have just drove it across the water. I saw that on one of those diesel guys on the internet.
You're a dork.
He did that.
You're a dork.
Yeah. Whistling Diesel.
Whistling Diesel guys did that.
So John Farrell or Farrell Frameworks, John or Muffin, we call him Muffin. Anybody who really knows him calls him Muffin. If you don't know to call him Muffin and you're buying cars from him out of Indianapolis right now, your sprint cars, your mini sprints, your midgets, or whatever kind of stupid ass rototiller it is. But sorry, John, Muffin. If you're not calling him Muffin, you're not his friend. That's just straight up what I'm going to tell everybody. If you don't know that his name is Muffin, then you don't know.
Does his mother call him Muffin?
His mother's dead. So is his father. His father just passed away not long ago.
R.I.P.
Yeah. His mother's been passed away for a long time. Great lady. Anyway, so Muffin. Anyway, so he got this S10 Blazer because his car broke down. I had it. I gave him a drive, whatever, and he drove it for quite a long time. I mean, a long time. And it was sitting there at the shop, and he was in the shop doing something, working on the late model car. Like he worked on the late model car with us. This is before the Zip Fizz car. Last year was the Zip Fizz car. So I think it was a little bit before that.
Was it the blue design?
I don't know. It was one of the black and chrome one, the blue and chrome one, the light blue one. I don't know. We raced with Bob and Sonia Russell and I raced together for a long, long time. I met those people through Rodney Thorsness, and it was cool. I worked for them a long time. I had an awesome job, made a lot of money, spent a lot of money, and raced a lot of races, won a lot of races. I was with them when we won the Fall Classic, but anyway, so Muffin's starting to do something, and Bob said, "Can you was doing something because the monster truck wouldn't run right. So I think it was putting a new carburetor on. And it was cool because it had the hydraulics and it had a dump bed on it. The bed would lift up like an old mini truck.
Oh,
and it also had like a one-piece front end. Like it was, the hood and all that was one piece steel, but welded together. It was painted nice. And the front end would also like come up hydraulically. So anyway, I was up there standing on this tire and I was putting a new carburetor on it. It had a quadrijet on it. I think I was actually putting an intake manifold on it so I could put a Holly on it.
Yeah.
And because he wanted to give rides to the neighbor kids or it was coming up to the 4th of July or something. And they always had this big, huge party 2 or 3 times a year. They had these parties and here comes that barking dog.
Oh,
and, it wouldn't run very good. So I was putting this Holly on there, right? Like, I'm going to go buy a quadrijet. So I put this Holly on there. So anyway, I got it running and I'm driving it around a little bit, right? And just driving. These people have this like $2 million house with this manicured lawn and all this stuff. And on one side of the house past the swimming pool through the manicured lawn, was this kind of big field, and on the other side of the house was the race car shop and this gravel area, and then this manicured or this less than manicured field. But yet, to get to either one, you had to drive across a couple yards and a couple paved driveways to get to. So you're like, go from the shop, I'm going through there, and you got to be careful because like it would just rip it. It would just rip the good grass up, and it was all had sprinklers and stuff. We because Bob Russell, the owner, he kind of got a little out of control a couple of times, but it's weird because the lawn people would just come and fix it. But the lawn people only come right. Like here's something. The lawn people only came like once every 60 days or something, the landscapers, and they would do everything, right? But then there was a full-time lawn kid that worked for By Design, who for almost a year was Augie Vizzoni.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I took care of the employees at By Design Rockeries, and Augie Vizzoni worked for me for the Russell family, and he was the lawn boy at By Design Rockeries. So if you know Augie Vizzoni, you could tell him that you found out from listening to this podcast that he was the lawn boy.
He was a yard gnome.
Yeah, he was the yard gnome for By Design Rockers. Augie and I used to spend quite a lot of time together. So Muffin's there. He's got this thing. I get in this truck all like souped up and got checking the timing, this, that, and all the things. And so I'm driving it around, and I went across the good lawn, and I went over to the other side, and I'm like ripping around there. And you turn both wheels, and you can really get them to do donuts, right? Like I got it going right. And then I get all dizzy and go back somewhere else. And there was a couple little, there's an excavation and rockery company. So like we had machines, and so if there was an extra machine, it was always on the property, right? So, because then we wanted to do something or knock some trees down or build a fence or this or that or make some jumps for the monster truck, we'd just make them with the excavator. Always had a dozer, always had a backhoe, and usually had an excavator on site at the race car shop all the time. So anyway, I come over, and Muffin's got this, it's a race car shop. We'd all pull up and we'd park in this exact same spots all the time. So, there was a circular driveway around the shop because it used to be the truck shop before they got too big and we had to move it somewhere else. So there was fuel tanks. And so you'd pull up there with the dump trucks. But now I would just pull around there with the race car hauler because, it's this big $500,000 thing, right? And you'd fill it up there. But I'd pull around to park it or whatever. And so I went around the shop a couple times with this monster truck. And then I stopped and I had this epiphany. I own that S10 Blazer. So I ran over that fucking thing. And he says, "Oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I don't have anything to drive." I'm like, I don't know. We'll figure something out. But it was a lot of fun to run over his daily driver with it. And then,
was it stuff inside of it?
The stuff was inside of it. We ended up having to cut some stuff with the death wheel on the thing to get inside of it to get his wallet and shit out of it. He was so mad until we were cutting it apart, and we were just sitting there and we were having fun. And we were good friends. We still are good friends, and we were good friends, and we were cutting it apart. And
did you have any alcoholic beverages prior to the driving over the top of the S10?
No, that was in my drinking days. I didn't use then. That came later in my life. I didn't start using any substances other than alcohol till
I also know
2008.
If I know John, he wouldn't have run over the truck if they didn't have a good friendship already as a goof.
Well, I did
It was
own
probably
it.
just sitting there, and you got that look in your eyes, and
That
you're
was
like, I'm in a monster truck.
That's why I don't allow him to have a monster truck, because if I had a contour still and there's a monster truck around,
A contour's
Listen,
done.
some days I'd run over your fucking electric truck.
come on.
Yeah. He's been doing a lot of boating lately, Buckner. I tell him, be careful, don't back too far in, you get electrocuted.
I'm gonna kill all the fish.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, it was a fun. It was though. Like I was making laps, just and a lot of I was idling it around because like we need to get the kids because we put some seats in the back of the bed, you know,
That's
some
cool.
like some of those plastic pieces.
That
of
would be
shit
cool.
seats, like-
Yeah, get those seats, but put belts in them, and then you could lift the bed up.
Oh
with
yeah,
the kids
I don't
in
know
it.
about all that.
Just dump the kids
And
out.
so, you know, you had to idle it around a lot. Now, that was one of the things that really wouldn't idle. It was all or nothing with the old carburetor. And so, but I was driving it around, I was idling around there, and I looked over and I jammed the brakes on, and I'm like, and I had to turn it a couple times with the double steering to get her lined up to get up on top of the thing.
Did you like just kind of idle up on top of it?
No, I tried to, but then I had to get a run at it a little bit, and it tried to roll it over because I was doing it from the side because it was parked nosed up to the shop, so I couldn't just drive up the back of it. But
And where was Muffin at this time?
he's in the shop. The doors were open.
He didn't have any idea. At first.
He didn't have any idea. The doors were open to the shop, and he didn't know what was going on. So the roll up doors were open, but the man door was. And so I go up over this thing, and it took me a little. I couldn't drive all the way over it because the thing didn't have enough power. Right. And so, but I got all up on top of it to where I got the tire on the roof, but I was only about halfway up on the roof when he came over, and I could still see the look in his face with this dumb look that he always has when he's like in awe, and he opened the door and he was like, holy fuck. Right. Yeah. So it was fun. It was a cool truck. We didn't do a lot with it. And then, you know, people would always say, you know, you should race it. I'm like, nah, it's not that good. And then we went through a phase of Bob wanted to buy a real one, and he wanted me and him he wanted to take turns racing. Like he was ready to spend, I think we bought it for like 25 grand or something. It was more like one of those showy monster truck things, right?
Did it have a name?
I don't think so. When we just put by
all on the
design,
side.
we put a big by design rock race sticker on the door,
cool,
right?
cool.
I mean,
You see monster trucks at like some car lots and stuff.
Yeah.
The old ones like that. They don't
Yeah.
have motors in them usually. They usually just sit there and do
yeah,
this.
this one had a motor, you know, and a big old planetary gear rear ends. But anyway, after that, he wanted to buy. So he found a couple of them for like 125 grand with no motors, right? But we had all these because he owned a company that built offshore power boats, the company Outer Limits. And I don't know if he still does.
That's the company that you drove from here to Florida.
That
with
same company,
Yeah,
right? And
cool.
they're out of Bristol, Rhode Island, and that's where the factory is. And so he owned that with another gentleman, Mike Fiore, who passed away in a boat race when it flipped over. And anyway, so there was always boat motors, which were always based on, at least for by design, were always based on a big block Chevrolet.
Merlin motors or
Yeah. No, never a Merlin. There was this one called the Millennium. It was pretty awesome, but they never got it right. It always blew up. It was all aluminum, everything. But most everything was based off of, they were 1,200 horse, 1,500 horse, maybe a little more sometimes, blown big block aluminum head Chevs, and there's two of them in every boat.
That's so crazy.
Right. For the longest time, I don't know if he still does. They built a cabin cruiser, so it had a little cuddy in it, right? Yeah. And for the longest time, they had the world record for the world's fastest cabin cruiser, and it was like, I don't know. When I stopped working at By Design, and which is pretty much the beginning of my headed to the downhill run. I think the record that they held, it was going back and forth between a couple people and a couple different boat companies, but they were going like between 180, 178 miles an hour. I remember was the last record I knew of, but they were closing in on They were building those were V-bottom boats, and they were building like a catamaran that would, because they wanted to go over 200.
Did they ever let you pilot the boat like over 100 miles an hour?
No, it was scary as shit to me. Like I would haul the boats around, do this. The boats, obviously we raced a lot in the summer, and I mean a lot back then. And boats were never really my deal. I would haul them around. My late friend Jeremy Van Ollie, he was the boat hauler, but I would haul some boats, or sometimes there'd be 2 boats, and I would haul them around. There'd be big, huge motorhomes, and and cars and trailers, and so I would go some of the times. I went in the boat as a passenger. Usually there's a throttle man and a steering man when they're racing, and Bob was good enough that he could throttle and steer when you're not racing. We took it out, we put it in the water. I went with him, just him and I put it in the water at Alki. And we got in, and we went across the sound because we needed to do a test. And we had to be quick because you went across water and went back, and we got right on the trailer and then hoofed it out of there because, that doesn't have no mufflers on it.
Right, and the boat cops don't like that.
Yeah, and we got we went in front of a ferry one time, and we went behind a ferry the next time. And both times, as we were coming, we went up to like Elliott Bay, turned around, and then went back to Alki. And both times, it was amazing because the ferry, every human being I think that could come out onto the deck of the ferry was out on the. You'd see, I would see them coming out. But here's the crazy thing: boats like that don't have seatbelts. Wait, if they have a canopy, so the later boats, as I was making my transition out of by design, they started to have canopies because when you get going a certain speed, you need to have canopy for one, aerodynamics and blah blah blah. If there's a canopy, then you have seatbelts. If there's no canopy, you don't have seatbelts because they want you to be flown away from the boat into the water if there's an issue.
You have a chance at least.
I guess.
Yeah.
At 120 miles an hour.
The ones with canopies, they have seatbelts. You wear masks like a fighter jet with oxygen, and they or helmets in all of them anyway. So you have oxygen in case the boat capsizes and takes on water.
So it's like that much closer to a hydroplane.
It's that much closer to depth. But I went across my first time in the boat, well, not at a boat race, but in the boat was just this test run across from Alki to Elliott Bay. And anyway, so what they have is underneath the seats for the people who are hanging out that don't have a steering wheel, there's 2 straps that you put your wrists through, and then you grab onto with your hands, and you just hold yourself in the seat so you don't fly out as you go bounce across waves, right? Faster you go, less waves there are because you just skip across the top. Ideally a boat, the bottom sliding across on a V-bottom, the bottom sliding across the water, and the propeller is pretty much the only thing in the water.
That's crazy.
And so we're going, and we got back, and he's like, oh, we only went 157 miles an hour. But here's the thing, and it was then, that day, this is like, and I say this to Rory Phillips, a good friend. I think he listens, but, we're on Instagram all the time, and he's a boat guy too. And I say, I figured out what the problem with boats were that day. They don't have brakes. Nope. That's what's wrong with boats.
Yeah, how long, when you do 157, and now you're out of the throttle, how long does it take to slow down to like a not butt-puckering speed?
You slow down pretty quick because there's tons of drag on the boat when it starts
when it's off plane.
When it's off plane, yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure all those people in the ferry were like, "Oh, I didn't know it was seafair."
Yeah, there was my favorite time was we were in Florida. My favorite time in the boat. We were in Florida, and we were just cruising through these little sloughs and waterways past these $1 million homes. These are $1 million homes in like 2006. And we're just cruising through here. Like the stuff you see on TV and stuff. And
oh yeah,
there's
Miami Vice,
right? Yeah, Miami Vice. There was too. There was always a couple like bimbos and nothing but the tiniest of tiny, right? All usually from the strip club in Daytona, lollipops because Bob was half owner in the strip club Lollipops in Daytona Beach.
He was.
Yeah, of course he was.
Which is great. Like, honestly, the life that you've lived.
Oh my God, I didn't even tell you about the money. I didn't even tell you about the money. I'm going to tell you about the warehouses, and I tell you about the gigantic vaults in warehouses for the money. I mean, it was a cash only business, right? And I think it was like if you went to the cash machine to get cash out, there was $11.50 charge.
What?
Yeah,
Back then.
Jesus. Yeah, and there in Daytona, it's a full on bar as well. Like people just come there to eat and have drinks, not just, they don't even look at the girls ever. And yeah, it's a big deal. And yeah, Bob, Bob had this like double life there. His wife knew that he was racing the boats there. And
Did she know he owned a strip club?
She knew he owned the strip club and there was some money there, right? She didn't care. She's got her life in Duval, Washington. But, Bob was helping this.
Was she into horses?
Bob was helping Bob was, no,
Richmond always into horses like that.
Not at all.
No. Okay.
Not at all. She's into money.
Was she good looking?
In the day for sure.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, she they're older than I am. So, but I remember his fling of the week or something. That's not true. They were usually about a 30-day deal.
Okay.
Right. And so
literally flavor of the month.
Flavor of the month. And one of them got a flat tire or something. So he went out there and there was some like road construction. There always is we were in Daytona Beach and he was on like, they don't do Jersey barriers there because they're doing construction. They just put those big red barrels or orange barrels. Right. And so, or there was a Jersey barrier. I can't remember. I think there was, been a long time ago now. And there was a car coming and she's on the shoulder somehow on the driver's side or whatever. Guy got on the wrong side of the Jersey barrier and hit Bob at like 60 miles an hour, like
car or his
walking.
Oh,
he lived?
He had went up there to help her, and then they called the tow truck, so he had to walk back to the nearest mile marker or exit to get the info to give them on the phone. And remember, this is barely iPhones, if not. I mean, I think I transitioned from a Razor to an iPhone. Anyway, so he got hit and like was in the hospital, didn't know he was going to make it. Jeremy and I flew back there a couple times to take care of things, which usually meant take a load of cash to one of the warehouses. The warehouse. Right. This is one of the things I got tasked with in my career at My Design Rock Race. So like, find a warehouse big enough to put my motorhome in, big enough to put the race car hauler in case we go to Florida and race, big enough to put all the cars in that he usually would have back and forth, big enough to put the Lamborghini in, but he wanted a clean room for the Lamborghini, right? And the Escalade with the supercharger on it, all this stuff, right? And you got to get there. And they're like, and then what are we going to do? We got to secure this money. So we got the cars, we got the warehouse, we got the the security system. We got cameras everywhere. We got cameras inside, we got cameras outside, we got cameras everywhere, right? Then we had this vault built, like a bank vault built inside of a concrete structure inside the building. And then this gated razor wire shit everywhere. So it's a gate around it. And then, so like he's hurting. So we would have to go there, bought an armored car, bought an armored car, used armored car. Armored car would be inside the building. It would be inside the building, right? In another gated thing, right? This whole double gated thing. And then it could get into the gated thing to where the vault was. Because, sometimes Bob would drive the armored car, but he wasn't unloading the fucking money. It's heavy. So,
I guess I've never really thought about if you had that much money, how much it would weigh.
Oh my God, Bike Week. Oh my God, Bike Week. Bike Week at Daytona Beach. Bike Week. Yeah, it's just and so then it ended up being secured, 2 security guards. They walked around the whole building. What if we need to take this is some of the things I was going, what if we need to take a leak? I don't know. Better piss your pants because you're not getting inside. Not my deal. I think we put an outhouse outside. Yeah. Anyway, that was that. Monster trucks,
offshore boats,
cocaine,
strip clubs,
hookers, strip clubs.
Dude, money, all the cash, duffel bags.
No, bro. Enough money that you need an armored car.
Did you hire like Cubans and stuff for like security?
I don't know. I think they were Samoans.
Oh, that's better.
I think. I don't know. Maybe they're
Cubans are
Cubans.
little,
I didn't hire them. Those were people that known through the. I'll tell you what. It was all I could do to tell them I was going to get an outhouse, and they couldn't go inside because I thought I was going to die. They were scary. I didn't employ them. Bob did, or his partner at the strip club did, or whatever. And here's the crazy thing: this is only Bob's half of the money.
Right.
I don't know where the other half of the money went to.
Different warehouse.
They opened another one in Topeka, Kansas. Built it brand new from the ground up. I thought, why would you do Topeka, Kansas?
Yeah.
Apparently, Topeka, Kansas is like scourge of the earth kind of place for that stuff. And it made it for about 4 years, and then they closed it up.
I will say, because you were talking about Daytona and Bike Week, that when I lived outside of Sturgis, South Dakota, when Sturgis Bike Week would go through, the one thing that I didn't really know, but you know this, I didn't know this, but there's a tour. So there'd be like a major bike rally, like in the middle of the country, one in South Dakota, there's one in Daytona. So there's like 5 or 6, and then all these different companies just kind of make the tour in the summertime, going to these massive events.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like vendors?
Right.
Yeah. I got a question. I want to ask you a question about bikes.
Okay.
Since you were in Sturgis. This is my thought on bikes. If you're a Harley guy or something that falls into that, right? Not a rocket, right? We're not talking about no
ninjas.
No ninjas, GSXRs, right? We're talking about those are rockets, okay? We're talking about Harley Davidson cruisers, choppers, those kinds of things, right? You got this? Follow? Mm-hmm. Say yes. Yep. Say yes. Yes. Okay, yes. Thank you. We're on the fucking radio. Articulate, okay?
The one radio guy is just nodding.
Yeah, no, he's just nodding, right? Like,
well, sometimes John will pontificate.
Come over here, and
I don't want to interrupt him.
Come over here. You can nod on this.
You're feeling
okay. So this is my thought. This is my thought. You're either basically a delinquent, some sort of just not quite desirable, less than desirable, if you're a Harley guy, or you're fucking fat. Just a fat old guy.
That's funny.
Thoughts?
I agree to disagree. I saw a ton of different people, different humans from different walks of life, young, old, female, male.
I think at Sturgis you get everybody.
I think this is my thought. This is it. This is what I'm giving you. This is my thought. You got Jesse James or Dom DeLuise.
I mean, you know.
I know, for all you Gen Zers, right? Like, go ahead and Google Dom DeLuise.
Definitely think I saw Jesse James once or twice at Sturgis Rally, but yeah, no, you're pretty spot on. You got a lot of those two, but you get a lot of other walks of life too that just like riding bikes, and they come out with their
those fuckers are riding trikes though.
There's the trike guys like Sturgis too.
Did you ever hook up with any biker women's?
Yes.
You know why we're talking about all this stuff? Because none of us went to the stock car races this weekend.
There was a big Cars Tour race
West,
and we did not go.
Cars Tour West.
Buckner went. Yeah, he went to Monster Trucks.
I had to work.
I was here doing.
You got some headers for the race car.
I did pick up headers finally. Yeah.
Yeah, he picked up a couple of headers.
2 of them.
Not the kind of headers you'd want.
No, they'll hopefully get the car done though.
Didn't cost $3,000 though.
Stupid. Got $8,000 worth of driving suit and fucking helmet he didn't need, but we got shitty ass fucking headers.
It wasn't $8,000.
Whatever.
Cheap internet stuff.
Cheap. The helmet's not cheap. Maybe the cheapest of those helmets, but would have been a lot closer to the headers.
Not that close.
Pretty close.
No.
So we're going to be running around. If we don't win this week, at least we got an excuse. We've got fucking headers that won't let our fucking motor do anything but wheeze.
I don't understand why you guys can't just weld your own, because he was talking about how easy it was to weld up an exhaust. You just get a couple elbows,
no.
bing, 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 and out the side.
From the guy who can't weld.
The exhaust,
I can't weld shit.
The exhaust, but not the headers.
Well, Aaron can weld shit.
Headers. I didn't say we could build headers. Somebody could.
Why can't you?
I'd like Nasher to
there's like engineering going on. It's a whole bunch of stuff. Like
You need U-bins, bro.
They build them and then they dyno them. Let's tweak it. Let's do it like this, and then they come with design and
tweakers.
Yeah.
Anyway, we didn't go to the races, so we're talking about fat girls on Sturgis bikes.
There's a lot of those too.
Was it last night? Hold on. Yeah, it was yesterday. We were at an event, and Kamikaze Keith Taylor was there, and there was, I shouldn't even say. I'm not going to say this.
You got to say it.
There was this lady, and there's a wheelchair. And
where were you at?
I was at an event in a farmer's market kind of thing.
Oh, with
Keith and Quentin.
Okay.
And so there's a wheelchair, then there's the electric wheelchair, and then there's like the special wheelchair.
The mobility scooter.
No, not a scooter, a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Right, like it doesn't look like a wheelchair, but it doesn't look like a scooter.
Doesn't have handlebars on it?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of like, but not
like a joystick.
No, yes, a joystick. Not the sip and puff.
Right.
What's that guy's name?
Oh, the smart one.
Not the Hawk.
Stephen Hawking.
Not the Stephen Hawking one, but close to that, right? Legs straight out and this and that and whatever. And she's doing her thing. She's on her phone doing her thing. She did talk.
She sounded like a robot?
No. She talked.
Oh.
And I walked by there because I had mentioned, this is terrible. I shouldn't even say this, but I said, Keith,
$3.
I could get you, $3. And he goes, nope. And for those of you who don't know, anytime I say, hey, Buckner, for $3,
something gross is going to be followed.
Most people say it'd be something like, this is just an example. This is an easy example. I'll give you $3 if you eat that caterpillar.
That would be the nicest thing you would do for $3. Usually it's like, oh, look, like a Snickers on the ground with ants all over it. $3.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And it's only $3. People go, maybe for $30. Right. I'm like, it's only $3. It used to be $1, but with inflation, I increased it to $3 about 3 years ago. Anyway, so I said to Keith, hey, Keith, look over there. And he looked, how about $3? And he goes, nope. And he's like, and he'd said before, he's into big titties. He's a big titties guy. And so I went to go use the restroom, and then I come back and I walked by her and she's on her phone doing whatever. I started working her phone. There was a child, and when I say child, probably, I don't know, 14, 15. I don't know that it was her child, but there was definitely some sort of a relation. There was a family. I don't know if it was her child. Maybe that's why she's in a wheelchair. She birthed that child at 14, 15-year-old size. Anyway, I asked Keith.
Are you trying to tell me the mobility capable people can't have children?
No, I'm not.
Okay. No, he's saying that the children made her mobily.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Challenged.
I know if you had to birth a child,
yeah, see you walking
mobily challenged. Anyway, she had some really big boobs, and they were very
big
out.
Oh.
Not all the way.
Okay.
But she was trying to tastefully show them off.
Yeah.
And I told Keith, hey, exactly what you're looking for in a woman over there. Boobs like you like, can't get away from you. $3.
Unbelievable.
I don't even know how. You might want to edit that. I'm not a fan of editing, but you might want to edit that out.
John doesn't like boobs.
No?
That's the number.
Oh, I didn't plug my phone in today.
He likes, if he has to have boobs, they got to be small.
Interesting.
I'm not into boobs.
All right. Good to know.
If I was into boobs. Oh, you mean because I'm like my ex-wife?
Well, yeah, because in general,
I'm into guys. So that
even when you see like a cute girl, you're like, oh, okay. And it's always like
that girl that works at Brookdale Lumber. Oh my God. I think there was a girl yesterday I saw at this event, and I thought it might have been her.
Yeah.
Super cute. I'm like, I'm not going there again ever, but I mean, she was super cute.
I want to hear more about Wenatchee, and are we trying to get Jeremy on the phone today?
He's got a phone in his hand right now. Look to your right.
I see that. Okay. But at the same time, he could be texting it. You know how he is. He likes to multitask.
I am texting. It's texting family. Family texts me.
See, you wasn't texting Jeremy.
Get this thing going.
You need a number for it, so you can.
I know. Hand it back to me. I can't open.
Oh, I get it going that way. I got it.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
If we're going to talk
why
about,
don't you turn your text up? You're blind as well.
if we're going to talk about Kevin Harvick out in Wenatchee, we need to get the expert on the phone. Since we didn't have the chance to be out there.
We had the chance. We just didn't.
Yeah, we got busy.
What do you mean you're not blind? You're totally
I'm not that blind that I can't see the numbers on my phone without making them so big.
Why not though? Here we go.
I'm not that far off yet.
You're that far off. I've seen some.
Jeremy.
Hey, what's up? You're on the In the Fence podcast here with John Buckner and Aaron. What's up?
Hello.
Hello.
I was just about to get on you like I did Buckner a little bit ago here. But like we're on the radio. You got to verbalize these things.
Sorry, it was the dead spot of transporting kids. So,
Oh, are you still transporting them?
when you have 7 kids, you're always transporting kids.
They can't transport themselves yet?
I have one that's 15, and trust me, that's going to be a great day when she turns 16.
Will it be a better day when she turns 18?
No, I don't want to leave house. She's still great. So,
Do you realize at 16 and she's out driving herself, what she's going to be driving herself to?
Work.
Yeah, right.
To church.
No,
What do you
Driving herself to dates.
She's going to be driving herself to the racetrack and helping out.
Oh,
she already does. Well, she already works the track. So does her other sister. So,
yeah. Well, that when she gets her driving papers, then she's not going to work at the track anymore. She's going to be going on dates.
She'll be
no,
driving.
she's gonna have to drive to the track, to work to the track, to pay for a car to drive to the track.
You find
I like that, Jeremy.
You find any dates for her at the track?
Oh God, don't do that.
No.
Yeah,
no.
Terrible place to date. Stay out of the racetrack for
It's
dates.
a shallow pool.
There's people like John Zaretsky at tracks like that. So.
Yeah, but I don't think we're probably not gonna mesh up right properly.
Yeah, she's too old for it.
That's probably okay. We're past this point.
Okay,
Let's talk about the race that you guys had. Kevin Harvick, legendary driver, out at your track. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. It was a long weekend. Usually this event's, like a Friday, Saturday, but we, have had a private test on Wednesday, and it was nonstop from there. We had a dinner on Thursday night with Kevin at a local golf course, like huge group of people. Then Friday, it was like setup day all day. We had a huge test session between all the late models and legends, and the legends raced at the end of the night, Friday night. And then we had a huge qualifying party in downtown East Wenatchee at the Side Chick in Clearwater, which was literally packed to the brim. Which some teams stayed there very late into the night. And then...
Were those the same teams that didn't have a good finish on Saturday?
No. I'm not going to name names, but I think one team had a good finish and one team that I know was late did not have a good finish. So,
okay.
Yeah. I don't think the drivers were out. The crews were out, though.
Oh.
But then... and then Saturday was race day. So, Saturday was... crazy day. I mean, we knew going into the day that ticket sales were pretty crazy. We knew we had a huge field of cars. The cool thing about it was, every single car. I mean, Scott Murphy had an incident on Friday, but every car made it through unscathed, and he was out there racing on Saturday. So all 25 cars that showed up on Friday morning started on the race on Saturday. We added an extra provisional an extra starting spot and paid the full field, the full amount.
That's what I was wondering if you guys you did that because it was like you were at that weird no man's land. You couldn't run a main type.
25 cars. We agreed to pay the $2,000 to start every single car. So it's a big chunk of change, more extra on a weekend. It's already expensive, but we want to make sure everybody that felt like they had it there. And we had an amazing field of cars. I mean, that was definitely one of the toughest fields that we've seen on the West Coast for a while. You have some of the best, in the Southwest mixed with some of the best in the Northwest, all in one race. You had veterans, you had young guns. You had NASCAR champions, you had really young kids, and it was, I would say, a true old school bull ring battle of some sorts. When you're the promoter, you don't get to watch very much of the racing, by the way. So I, actually went back and watched some of the racing yesterday from the Flow broadcast, more of it, because people are like, oh, did you see it happen here? No, I didn't see it happen. Did you see it? No. I saw it the last 4 or 5 laps, and I saw a couple of laps in between there, saw the start. Saw when we did the Kyle Busch tribute. But other than that, kind of was going all over, taking care of all the other stuff. But unfortunately, there was a lot of wrecked race cars. Nobody was hurt, which is probably the best thing.
That's what happens when people get excited.
Yeah, I think it was. There's a lot of energy. I mean, the opening ceremonies. We do a pretty cool opening ceremonies with flying the sheriff's helicopter.
Would love that. Yeah,
I love an opening ceremony.
The flag and stuff.
We have a 30-foot American flag that drops below a sheriff's helicopter. We bring it in and drop it off in the center, then fold that flag, and then we have the huge stage, 54-foot flatbed semi-truck trailer on the front stretch. Bring all of our dignitaries up. We got the mayor of East Wenatchee there, the police chief, our sponsors from Gisa and Plum Perfect, and it just builds the energy, right? So by the time you get into the car and those engines fire, it's like something special on 200 weekend when those engines fire up. And I think that trickles down the drivers for a while. I think that there's just a couple of mistakes made by a few drivers that, they probably look back now and probably would change. But, Wenatchee is, it's a quarter mile, right? So it's obviously like, it's not very fast. No, things happen fast there in that quarter mile. And John can attest, and so can Air to attest to us. It's you go really fast on the 5/8 track, but you kind of have a little more sometimes reaction time or things to think things out. There, it happens so fast. There's not a lot of room or things to move around, and so things happen really fast there. So,
what do you think? From the audience or the crowd, people that you talked to, what do you think was one of the more exciting finishes at the race over the weekend?
There's only one finish, Buckner. Come on, get your shit together.
I thought there was I'm so sorry.
I
thought there was multiple races. Yeah, legends.
Yeah, well, we had the legends and the Thunders, and I think there was good racing. All of it. The Thunders, we had 25 or 20. Yeah. We had I think it was 5 Canadians come down. We had 3 teams coming from state line, so it was a good mix of there. And we saw drivers from that had never raced there before, and we had a good mix of drivers from all over with our locals in the Thunder car class. It was some good old school Thunder bomber style car racing, you'd say for sure. And then legend cars, it was a tough battle up front. I mean, you had Cole Dasenbrock, who has not been out in the Northwest a whole lot. He's 33 races into the year already. He's been racing everywhere across the East Coast, winning back at Dillon and winning back in Tri-County. Winning races down in California, came back out here, won both races, but it was a close battle. I mean, Damian Harris, Dylan Wolf were up there. I mean, there were some really good battles up front all weekend long for the legend cars.
I was looking at the times for the legend cars in that main at the end, and it seemed like first, second, third were real tight.
And I would say if you look at the super late model, early in the race, you'd say probably Cole Raz, but he got involved in a late instance there with Casey Klein and some stuff. And so he wasn't able to kind of finish out the race there. But those last 20 laps, I think everybody's Vito Cancilla, 14-year-old kid, really turned a lot of heads this weekend. I think he kind of put people on notice and finished third up there with some late passes, though. I think with 20 to go, people thought he might be the winner. Jace Hansen, they changed a broken rear axle in the middle of the halfway break to get him back out there because he kind of dropped back. He came forward and finished second. And then Dylan Zampa, never been to Wenatchee before. A West Coast kid from California comes in and literally the biggest win of his career. He's a young teenager. I think I want to say he's 17 or 18 years old, maybe 19 years old now. But, he's raced at, All-American and Madera and Kern and all those tracks down there. And you come to Wenatchee and it's a whole new ball game coming from those tracks. But he put on a great show. And, he battled with some of the best out there. And then Keelan and Kevin had their own
those
time
guys
back
were there.
Yeah. But, and I talked to Kevin, Kevin got there. The first time I ever saw the track in person, he's been watching some races there, was Friday. And he walked the track a couple times and he's like, this is a unique one. And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, I'm trying to think, there's not a lot of room in the front stretch. He said, but there's a lot of room in the back stretch. And, and I talked to him on Friday after practice and he's like, I think I figured out 1 and 2. He's like, I think I figured out 3 and 4. Just struggling on 1 and 2, which, and they race differently, right? Your entry into both those corners are different. And it's tough sometimes to figure out both those corners, and especially the track changing. Funny thing is, Friday the drivers were running low 4s in qualifying, and then the track just changed up a little bit. Nothing really happened to it, but track slowed down on Saturday night. I think we qualified 12.5 or something, but they were in the low 4s. We thought we were going to see all-time track records getting broke for late models on Saturday, but they just slowed down a little too much.
Okay, let's get to the bullshit here. Let's get to brass tacks. Everybody's MFing Kevin Harvick. We weren't
brake
there.
checking.
We
Kevin
didn't
Hart.
see it.
Didn't see a thing.
What's going on? What's
We don't
going
know.
on? Where you
We're in the
at?
dark.
You don't need to have a position on it, but you could go, right? I know you're going to be PC, but which sucks. But what's going on?
About what now?
Kevin Harvick
wrecking half the field. Quote. That's what I read several different times from different people that he wrecked half the field.
Yeah, he's the buzz about causing all the crashing.
No, I think there was an incident that happened between him and another driver. I think it was like lap 24, 25. And unfortunately it happened like early, like I think it was like 1 or 2 laps after a restart. So the field was all bunched up and it went into a corner. And it was just like, I mean, at that time drivers were still side by side coming out of it. And I mean, it happened in turn 4. And as you know, the space between the bottom of the track to the top of track in turn 4 is not very much room. So when you're all much like that together and things happen really fast, there was just nowhere for a lot of guys to go, and quick reaction time, and so guys just bunched up. And there was quite a few cars involved in that incident, but I don't think it would. I mean, I look back and I think it was just a short track racing incident of some sort between the drivers.
Yeah, I mean, and that jives. I didn't see it obviously, but that jives. Race car drivers are going to MF Kevin Harvick. Fans aren't going to. So you know what I'm saying? Like he wrecked me. Yeah.
I feel like
you're
see
Ken
that.
Bonnie, okay? I mean, you wrecked yourself.
I think you see that in a lot of different fields, though. If you got some outsider coming in who's a hot shot and a big name, there's a lot of local guys that are going to be like, well, watch this.
Right.
All right. So you may have noticed that the interview with Jeremy Anders from Wenatchee Valley Super Oval ended a little abruptly. It's because we had a system failure here at the Star Motorsports in the Fence podcast studios. And fortunately, it saved everything we recorded up to that time, but then we couldn't get it to record again until today. Had to go buy some parts from the Apple store. So, that was cheap. And so we did continue to talk to Jeremy for quite some time, much of it off the record, like a lawyer, representing their client. He wouldn't say too much incriminating stuff. We were trying to get into the dirt and the weeds about some of the costs and expenses of the cars to a race at Wenatchee. And it was a good talk. It was just good to hang out with him. You guys have that opportunity. If you're friends with Jeremy, you haven't talked to him in a while, and you got some time, do that. Obviously, it's good. We talked about Garrett not racing and getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, which is kind of a cool honor that probably should have happened a long time ago. So we did get most all of what we were going to talk about. Today, Kevin Harvick's podcast came out, and I was kind of looking forward to that. I didn't listen to it. I actually had a friend call and tell me he listened to the whole thing. He didn't talk much at all, really, about the race at Wenatchee. Kind of disappointing and weird. There's a clip you can hear online. I'll actually insert it into the podcast here for you to hear it. Is really all he mentioned. So you don't have to listen to the whole. If you don't want to listen to the whole podcast, you don't have to, because it's just this clip as the only mention of the race from Saturday at Wenatchee. And he didn't mention Wenatchee at all. I think kind of a dick move, actually. I don't know if he was just so upset, like he left there with a bad taste in his mouth. Complete speculation. I have no idea. But last year, after he left Monroe, he had tons of glowing praise and things to talk about and how he's going to be back next year. I hope it's just he had other stuff to talk about on his podcast. I know how we do, and sometimes there's many topics we don't get to, and we kind of forget to talk about stuff and mention people and do things like that because we only have an hour or so to do it. So maybe next week he'll talk about it. Maybe we'll have some time to reflect, calm down, whatever it might be. But I'll insert the clip from his podcast today that kind of mentions the Cars Tour Northwest race at Wenatchee from this last weekend. So thank you guys for listening this week. And now that we got the bugs worked out, we're going to continue to do some changes and try to make the podcast better. We do have some more guests lined up. It's going to be great. And hoping to race this weekend at South Sound. We got the engine out of the car today. I dumped a ton of brake clean all over to get it cleaned up and get the oil mess clean and all the grease and the grime that race cars just generally get and stuff. John pulled the motor out, which is awesome. and we're about ready to put the new motor back in. But now it's looking like it might rain at South Sound on Saturday. So I checked, well, Monroe's got a late model race. Let's check that out. Nope. Worst rain percentage there. So I thought, well, who else is racing? Agassiz. We'll go back to the scene of the crime where the motor blew up. They look like an 80% chance of rain as well. So perhaps the only place to go would be Mission Valley Super Oval in Montana, and that's just a literal bridge too far for us to go. So if the weather doesn't cooperate, it looks like we're not going to race this weekend, but it'll give us a little more time to get the car dialed in and ready to go for the next USA late model race at South Sound Speedway. But thank you guys for listening, and as Buckner would say, smash that like button, like, subscribe. Not even positive what that means, to be honest. Leave us a review on the podcast app that you use, or Spotify or iTunes or whatnot. We appreciate those, and we'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks.
Figured out this weekend that I still can be pissed off.
Yeah, did
all
you
you gotta
break-
do is
You break your glasses?
No,
Okay.
no. You just seeing
glasses?
somebody stick their finger out the window and flip me off.
Oh.
What? Somebody flicked you off?
Of course
Oh,
they
yeah.
did. I would flip them
Yeah.
off if I saw them too.
Yeah,
I would not.
yeah.
Another competitor on the track did that.
I mean,
that
I
is shocking to me.
bumped into him a few times, and next thing you know, yeah.
I need to show
He's
some respect
guy
here.
Guy tried to wreck me. No, if I try to wreck you, I'm wrecking your ass. You'll know when I try to wreck you.